Heroes first. He was first, I can confirm. He's the first one to join. Yeah, I closed this at the right time. How's hype doing? Just ranging. Oh yeah. I would love to see this back to $18, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. Do they have the Bybit ticker yet? Hype. SLT. Bybit. There you go. Finally. I was waiting for the longest time. This is still good support as long as it's above. Yeah, what's up, Fugazi? Scam solidation. Pretty much, right? Pretty much scam solidation. I personally, I don't think this coin is ready for leverage just yet. Besides, like this move up here, it's just been, choppy and people are accumulating. I'll go our BTC real quick, and then we'll go from there. So, not much has changed. I talked about yesterday. You need to get above. This needs to be above, actually. Like that right there is good. We need to close daily above 99.4 in order to get, some upward movement on the daily. There is some resistance at 102.7. And then after that, it's just straight shot to 106.3. But until we get that daily close above 99.4, it's not going to happen. And I said it yesterday, we're just range, excuse me, range bound. I cannot talk today. So this is your range for now. Kinda. It's at mid range right now. I wouldn't do anything here. I did think it was, reclaiming and getting back above it, but it's right back under. Maybe this is better. No. How's that? That's good. I like this. But we'll see. We still have to wait for this 4-hour candle close, and then we'll go from there. Besides that, it's the same thing. Resistance is resistance until broken. Support to support until broken, so you can just play the range here. So I'll wait like 2 more minutes for more people to join if anybody is interested. And then I'll go over the compounding thingy. It's really easy, but people will just get carried away instead of sticking to sticking to their plan. Being disciplined is the hardest when it comes to trading because your emotions get in the way. Damn, Ondum has just been going straight down. That's good though. Need to accumulate more. I was trying to find any like stronger coins, but I don't really see anything. Everything's just kind of doing the same price action for the most part. We had some scam pumps on Mocha and UX Link. I still don't know what that coin is, but it pumped like 200% and then it's back down to basically where it was. Coin also had a nice pump the other day. It's just double topped, kind of. Looks double topped for now, but I think this coin's still gonna go up more. This is actually a good place to scalp this. That's a pretty wide stop loss, but this coin also moves 50% in a day, so it's really not bad considering that it moves, 50% in a day. And I would do, yeah, stop loss, 15-minute closure under that candle right there. So to go over my compounding sheet, so basically, I started here, $400, and then I was at 1400 unrealized, and I pretty much closed everything there. So what you want to do is, first thing is you want to find coins that are trending, coins that are moving, not just random coins that are at support, because you can find, at least in these conditions, right, you can probably, like, let's say hype, for example, you can long here, but this is just going to keep, ranging, even though this is at a fairly decent support level. It's just not trending right now, so there's no reason to, trade this. Now, if this hit like this area here, yes, that's okay. You can long here because it's a level that hasn't been tapped since it broke out. So after this support was made, um, this is like the first time it was tapped, and it did have a fairly decent bounce from it the first time. Yeah, so it bounced 8%, so that's more than enough for a scalp. But if it keeps coming down and again and again and again, I'm not gonna trust it as much because it's not gonna be as strong as a support as it originally was. So I'm personally gonna wait until it reclaims higher levels, or wait until it makes one more wick down to here, and I can long here. And even this one part coin, for example, um, it's down. I'm just gonna use that right there. It's down 30% almost. So it hit the support originally. This is on 15-minute too, right? But with coins like these, even with 15-minute support, or I don't want to say resistance, 15-minute supports, they will have a significant bounce because they are trending and they're strong in general. Like once it hit this support here, let me just draw it out so it's easier to see. Like that demand zone right there. Even if you longed here, you still had a 6.5% bounce. That's more than enough for a scalp. And your stop loss would have been something like this. And I always do manual stop loss. I don't do hard stop losses in case, especially on 15-minute, because there's a possibility it can just wick down. Like it could have just come down here and then closed back above here, almost like it did here. Not fully, but almost did. So you want to look for setups like that with tight stop loss and high risk reward basically. And you just keep doing it. So this is one coin, right? Once you get to or whatever you're. So for me, I was personally going for 2% per trade. Now obviously there are trades that I got more than 2%, but for the most part, I was sticking to 2 to 3%. This one here, I longed the shitcoin, and um, yeah, it dumped, so I took a loss there. But other than that, it was pretty consistent. But this was also when dominance was also going down, so it was easier to run trade after trade, right? Well, once I was done with one trade, I would just move on to another and just keep doing that again and again and again. Coin, future of finance. Yeah, apparently, out of all the coins in existence, they choose a coin named Coin to make the future of finance. Imagine it gets listed on Coinbase and you hear everybody talking about, I'm gonna buy Coin. Okay. Um, do you guys have any questions on like this so far? But that's pretty much what I do. First thing, obviously you want to draw your higher time frame support and resistance, and then you just go down to 15 minute. That's what I use. I don't use 5 minutes. That's too much and not too low in my opinion. Some people like it. I don't. I like to stick to 15 minutes to an hour. Um, if you go to an hour, you can see there's also this demand zone here. So there's a very good possibility that this can also make, come down here and then bounce, like it did here almost. But as long as you keep the same risk, it shouldn't matter. So even with the 6% stop loss, that's okay because my um the amount that I'm gonna lose, it's gonna be the same every time because I'm risking 2% per trade. So, and that's a little bit on the higher end, but that's just what I do when I'm scalping like this. So if this hits stop loss, I am gonna lose 2% of my portfolio. Um, and once you are done with one trade, let's say you close one trade or once that's in profits, you can do two things. You can either close it or you can move your stop loss to break even, and then you can open another trade. So I don't open at max, if there's a big dump, you can open, up to three longs at the same time. So now these three trades, technically I did open them at the same price, but just so I can track it better, I had to, put the starting balance to where I closed my previous trade at. So technically all three of these were opened at 400, but just to follow along easily, I had to change that, but it really doesn't matter. And then once you get your 2%, then you can either close it. Now there are some trades like this one, for example, these two. This one of them was fart coin, the other one was hype, I think. Now they were looking really good, so there was no reason for me to close for 2%. And technically this also I opened like somewhere here in 5 to 600, not at not at almost $900. So it's just a way to track your trades. Don't strictly get fixated on a percent and starting and ending balance. Just be consistent. That's the point. How can you check for a trending coin? Yeah, so easiest way to do is newer coins are gonna have more movement right naturally. Like for example, Pengu and Me when they first came out, they had pretty good volume and you could easily just long or short and you would get well, Me was kind of an exception because it was trending for one day and then it just kept going down. But besides that, most new coins they will pump and dump. So the first week or first few days you wanna just monitor and look for a bottoming structure. So for example, Pengu. Um, this was kind of like the launch day, right? And then it came down. Then you can go on 15 minute, you can see it was making, this is pretty good movement, right? This is like 45% move in like almost a day. So this was making higher high, not higher, yeah, higher highs each time and higher low. So easy way to just long every time it comes down. And then eventually it made a lower high and then lower low, lower high, lower low, and then finally another lower low. This is not very clean here, but you can see, and then it was kind of, it did have a good amount pump, but you wouldn't have known where to long this. You could have longed here after it reclaimed these previous lows, so you could have longed somewhere here, and you, you could have had a 20% move if you held all the way to the top. But you would have to watch the price action here because there's not a lot of support here. This is more of like a vertical accumulation on lower time frame. So you would have a hard time placing a stop loss. And then you can see here it was pretty much accumulating. And then finally here, this was kind of like your cue that it broke out and it came down and retested here. So it flipped this resistance here, and then it had this nice run up. So you want to look for, those trend changes and um, formation of higher highs and higher lows. So this was your low. Here we had a higher low, kind of a higher low, higher low. This is your high, higher high, higher high, higher high. And then when it did go back up, it did make another higher high. So that's what you want to look for new and trending coins. The other thing you want to do is you want to, whatever app you use, you want to set the sort them by the volume. So if you go to, I don't have my VPN on, let me just go to Blowfin because it should let me. So if you go to futures, go here, and then this right here, this is what you want to look at. So where it says volume, click on that, and it's going to sort the coin list by the volume traded for each coin. Now, obviously, always uh, BTC, ETH, XRP, or some of your high cap coins, they'll always have the most volume, so they'll always be on the top. But you want to look past those, past like 10, past number 10, and see what other coins are there, and go from there. So Pengu, for example, is picking up a UX link pumped yesterday. ADA is always there. Zen has been trending. HBAR, Fartcoin hype, Link, Bonk, LTC is usually there. So do you want to look for these are also good. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with them, but just keep in mind that they are always there because they are large caps, so they naturally have more volume. So let me see this for example, right? Here's another one. So if this breaks out, there's my resistance. I don't like that. So this one did flip. Actually, this is not bad. So this was the previous support. It broke down and now it reclaimed it. And now it's on the verge of breaking out. So you can do something like this. And then just place your stop loss here. That's a 2% stop loss. And then you can get an upwards of 10% movement. For TP1, you can get up till there, which is more than a 2% move right there. So you could take that if you wanted to. But that's pretty much what I do. And again, like I was saying, I know I got off track a little bit, but Once you get your 2% realized or unrealized, set stop loss to break even. You can either fully close or you can hold on to it. I don't do partials in these unless it's pumped a lot. Like let's say I step away and the coin is up 6, 7%, then I can, take off 50% and then move my stop loss to break even and then let the rest of it just run. Other than that, I don't look to get more than 2%. Sometimes, it just pumps more than 2%. And I usually don't do limit TPs for this here. In case the coin starts to have strength and starts pumping, or there's like a market pump, which there was, that day. It was literally, where was this? It was like here, wasn't it? It's Tuesday. I know it was Tuesday or Sunday night. Sunday night. Yeah, so it was pretty much here at the bottom. So we had, pump on Sunday night. So now that's not going to always happen, but at that time, this was also BTC dominance right here. So I broke the trend line. This was the original one that I had that I started longing based off of. So it broke down and then it retested this previous support that turned into resistance. And then we had this nice dump on Bitcoin dominance, which is what led to this basically. So you also want to be wary of, other things and conditions like those. Like today, for example, I know I longed Sol uh literally here again. And as soon as I longed, my alert for um Bitcoin dominance went off because it uh, broke out here. I had my alert for here. So it broke out. So immediately I realized that it's gonna, break out and this is just a small rejection for now. This is gonna go back up. It's gonna like do that. Oops. That's gonna do that. Move that so it's easier to see. And then that's exactly when everything else dropped too. ETH dropped, Solar dropped. I don't have other coins here to show as an example, but pretty much everything dropped. So, so here, this didn't break out yet. So another reason why you want to wait for breakouts to do happen, especially in the condition like right now where breakouts can happen all the time. There is resistance here too. So there was resistance here too. So this was resistance. There's two. The other thing you want to keep in mind, I know I'm all over the place, but I didn't really prepare like a, I wasn't prepared to basically go over every single thing from this. So I'm just kind of um, eyeballing based on what I see and what comes to my mind. But another thing with lower time frame is there's going to be multiple supports and resistance in a short span of basically close to each other. So from here to here, this is 1.6%. From here to here, that's 2%. And then you go past that, then there's another resistance right there. So it's important to remember when you're doing like 15-minute trades like these, you have to remember that there's going to be 15-minute supports and resistance along the way. You have to take profits. You have to close, right? You have to realize the gains and they will quickly add up. Like this all happened. This doesn't always happen. Right? This happened in like less than a day for me, but that's just because the conditions allowed me to. But you should still be able to at least be able to get 2 or 3 of these per day, like long or short. We're not in an upturn. We are back to being in a range, so you can short and long. You don't have to just long or just short. So you should be able to easily at least get, you know, don't focus more on like the percent. Your percent, you should set your percent to what you think is easily achievable for you. For me, 2% per trade is pretty achievable, which is why I had it set to 2%. But you can set it to whatever, right? Because it's gonna add up quickly. Even if I had got like half of this, that's still, you know, 800. That's still 50%, not 50, that's still a 2x on my account um over time, right? So even if it takes you a week, like it's okay. Like you doubled your portfolio compounding in a week, which is not bad at all. Um, if you were not satisfied by your portfolio 2xing in like a week or 2 weeks even, then you're I don't know what to tell you. Like don't be greedy because it's gonna keep happening, right? If you consistently do it in conditions like these, if you 2x your portfolio, growing your account slowly by slowly every trade in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, then that's pretty good because it's gonna keep going on, right? So in another 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it's gonna do another 2x and then so forth. So that's the goal, right? You wanna compound and keep growing until you're satisfied and you wanna stop or whatever. It's your choice. Okay, any question so far? I know I was talking a lot, but does that help answer your question, Dan? You lost him with your blabbering. I wouldn't be surprised. But at least I recorded so people can watch it. Yeah, yeah, I know you're kidding, but you're always an asshole. So as far as how I take trades, it's the same as I do on higher time frame. It's not any different. So I always just look for demand zone, support, and resistance, and you just play that. It's just that your entries are a bit more fine-tuned than 4 hours. So like even on 4 hour, if you long here, for example, like here at 93, it's not gonna assuming this is just this is hypothetical. This is you wouldn't go long here, but on 4 hour at least. So assuming you long here, it's not gonna matter on the 4 hour because it might end up here and hit your TP level. But on lower time frame, it does matter because your stop losses and TPs are much tighter. So you wanna set your you wanna have your setup based on those lower time frame support and resistance levels. Um, yeah, this is what I had. This range bound and then um needs to get above 99.4 and then yeah, probably all-time high. Until then, it's just gonna be range bound. So looking at, I think there is a golden pocket here. Yeah, I already bounced from it, so uh, it might come down one more time. And then there's this demand zone here. Let me enable my 786 too. And there's a 786 right there too. So not a confluence here in this box. If not, just take this outside 85K. Now, I still do think altcoins are bottomed. I don't think they're gonna make a new low. Even if BTC wicks down, I think it's gonna be like this one here, where we had that flash dump on Saturday or Sunday, or when was it? Thursday, where it was just BTC, Devict, and altcoins were fine. I think it's gonna be like one of those, but just for BTC, because altcoins have already retraced a good amount, in my opinion. Um, Anything more than we'll be back to like last year's levels, like 2023 level, December 2023 levels. So you don't want to see that, especially with the dominance being this high. But this is again also at resistance, which is why I think this can dump with BTC dumping. So yeah, this again, it didn't come all the way down here, but it did. It got front for a little bit, but it did bounce back. So there's Fartcoin. It did come down to almost came down to that box right there. So let's see. Now this is also in a downtrend, higher time frame, yes, but there's also a trend line here you can draw, and you have basically a falling wedge that it needs to break out from. So depending on when this happens, it might be here, it might be here. And it's going to reclaim that support. So it might do something like that, or it might go down one more time. So even though again this is lower time frame, but you can see if you draw everything out, it plays out relatively well. The downside is that you have to actively, monitor and see what's going on, so you don't miss everything. Okay. Any questions about that? Anything in general? Chiming, I just went over that for the past. I think you just joined, so you missed it. But I just went over all of it. So just watch the recording because like I've been talking about it for the past 40 minutes basically. So, but here's an example. Basically same thing as higher time frame. I just do it on lower time frame instead. Demand zones, trend lines, patterns. This is a falling wedge. It's also that also happens to have a trend line. There's a demand zone here that it originally bounced from. Came down again. It didn't hold the second time. And went down to the support under it, and it's bouncing from it so far. So if I were to take this setup, again, it would be something like this. But for these scalps and 15-minute time frame levels, I like to see, I don't want to have a 6% stop loss in all honesty. So I want to see what happens here if it forms like another support and long after it breaks out. So then I can make my stop loss a bit tighter. Or if it goes lower, then I can enter a bit lower. Can you check out the new cat coin for me? I'm done with cat coins. I'm never done with cat coins, but yeah, see, like this one, for example, I did one along here, but it instead of breaking out, it rejected the resistance again, and I came back down. So now I can lower my entry because now my trend line breakout point is also going to be lower. Now this has also lost the support here that it flipped. So I don't like that either. So I think it might come down even more, down to 37.32. Pengu is the next Hopcat. Honestly, it might be. I mean, this doesn't look all that bad. Uh, yeah, I think once this breaks out, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna make another high because higher time frame, it's still, now this technically made equal lows, so it needs to hold here. It did make a lower high too, so that's why I wanted to break out, and then we'll see from there. Let's see how this is going down. This is gonna tap here. In hindsight, like this was pretty obvious. Um, I hopefully nobody longed this during the weekend. Pretty obvious. Well, you didn't know that at that time, but I don't like that. Let me just draw this. Just draw this one line here, and they'll answer your questions. So broke down, retested. Did it even retest? Depending on where you draw it. Let me draw it. That's probably better. Yeah. Broke down, retested, rejected, down. And we have all of this here that needs to be touched basically. And then if it goes down here, this is not gonna hold. I don't think it's gonna triple bottom. This here needs to hold. If it doesn't, then it's gonna either SFP again or SFP here or down to 87K. Everybody's expecting 85K, so I don't think it's gonna happen. But like 87.5, 87.2 seems pretty good to me. Like here. Maybe it's just a yeah. Just a chill penguin. Okay. Hype. Are you doing something? Okay. This is reclaiming this support. This is good. So this is what I like to see as well. Reclaim of support. But again, there is resistance here, so you want to wait for it to reject from there, which it did initially. If you go on 5 minute, so it had a rejection from it. Now it's back up, but again, there's a lot of resistance here for my liking. Too long. I would like to see this level here reclaimed, and then it's a straight shot to 28.7. But again, this is also making higher highs and higher lows. So there's your trend line resistance. So we'll see what happens based on that. So for this one, you want to see if if this rejects, that's okay. I might do this. or it's gonna do that. Or continue and do that. But ideally, I want to see this, higher time frame breakout. You can draw it like this too, and actually that's not bad. I like this better because this also lines up with the this resistance here on the 1 hour. So I will probably long this based on that trend line breakout. Okay, this is a fairly new coin. That's why there's a lot of wicks, so it's not as clean as some of the other coins. But this coin also moves like 15%, not 15, 5%, 35% every 15-minute candle, and like 15 minutes every 4 hours, I think. So, or at least it used to. I guess it's slowed down now, but here, like this would range. Okay, not 15%, but 10% every 4 hours, which is crazy for a like 27 billion market cap coin. Smart coin. Okay, so we have a little bit of a rejected initially already. Small rejection so far. Well, this is good. I think once this breaks out, it's gonna at least go back to retest 1.1 again. Yeah. I think East is holding now probably because, okay, so I was wrong about this, which I don't mind being wrong about this. But this is going down, which is fine, but everything else is just holding for the time being. Nothing's pumping. Anyway, I don't have much more to say about that, but uh, if there's anything you guys want me to go over, I can. Auction, sure, I can look at auction. My Doge average is at 348. So what is that for? Spot, leverage, long term, short term. That's honestly fine. I wouldn't be worried about it. 34 is not bad, considering that it topped at, for now at 48. Was it? It's fine. It's gonna have its run again eventually. It's just slowed down because it pumped. It did like 4x since like 10 cents, so it's okay. Okay, sure. Let me look at auction. Can you tell me what time frame, Dan? Mhm. Can you blank me iron? I think you want to ask that question to Dave. Um, Personally, not interested. Herb still leading. Oh, yeah, it catched up like 2 days ago. Then yeah, it's back to being down. When perp leading, no, perp leading just means that uh, there's more leveraged longs than uh, natural spot buying. So it basically just means don't trust the move as much because uh, it can go down pretty quickly as well. Because the move is driven by leverage rather than spot buying. So it's not as trustworthy and reliable as it is for spot buying. It doesn't necessarily mean to long or short. Um, just means be careful because there might be a flush to basically take out all those leveraged positions and reset basically the price so it's the same. So for now, it's like a $35 difference, which is not bad honestly, but ideally you want to see the USD price ahead of USDT.P price. Um, limit. Okay, so auction your leverage. Okay. This is not bad actually. I just looking at this here, but okay, this is good. Bounce from that's pretty fucking good. Yeah, that's the historical SR area. Yeah, pretty important area right there, and it just bounced from it. So I would honestly set your stop loss under here. Depending on Venetrius, let's see, 3%. That's not bad. But I would just place it here, somewhere here, here. If this comes down again, most likely it will come to this level here. It might even take out that wick there. So you can do something like this. But this looks pretty good. Is it on daily as well? Yeah, this is on daily too. Daily is not that great looking, but 4 hour is good. This one is okay. It's not the best, but yeah, it's the most touches right there. So this is good. And I would TP. Yeah, I would TP here for starters, and then just front run it a little bit, and then yeah, that's your TP2. And it just leaves us for a high again because it can easily run back up. Actually, uh, yeah, maybe right there's fine. It's 22%, so that's fine. Or here, 27. Definitely TP here. It's so weird. Now it's bouncing from here, but I think that's because yeah, this is bouncing. Okay. My portfolio only negative in futures. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Well, you gotta figure that out, right? Like, what are you doing wrong? Where are you going wrong? Because you have to come up with, you need to take down notes on every trade and what's wrong and why are you losing and getting stopped out. Okay, there's Saul's setup. So he's swinging it, but that's fine too. But his entry again, yeah, that's the same place where I placed my entry. But that's pretty. It's looking pretty good. So I would long that. That's not bad at all. Yeah, yeah, Akira said it's scalp scalp conditions, not swing, which is why I was recommending doing the 2% thing because it's easy to do because you can do it both ways and you don't have to rely on holding because 1 minute you are up 2%, the next minute it might be down 4%. So I'm just following the signals. There are winnings, but most break even after TP1 when stop loss hits. Plus TP1 is not enough to cover the stop loss. So okay, I see what you're saying, but again, I would recommend when you're starting off and growing an account, I don't recommend anybody to do partial TPs uh, because let's say you TP like 25% that TP1 and then it goes back to break even. You basically got 25% of like one risk reward, if that makes sense, which is like 0.25. So instead of doing that, you should just, this is an example, right? Just do full TPs every time and take more trades when it's, when the conditions are given. So you don't need to do this every day and do like 5, 6 trades per day, but just do one trade and fully TP at TP1 and then move on to the next one until you get to a point where it's okay to leave out runners for TP2, TP3, and whatnot. Otherwise, your growth is going to be very slow and honestly quite frankly waste of a time. So I always tell everybody that's starting off to just be aggressive and just do TP1 and get out instead of doing multiple TPs. Because, and that's another thing too, because it's not enough to cover the stop losses. Because your stop losses is set to losing the full amount. But if you don't TP the full amount at TP1, then your next trade, you're just gonna end up losing it. So I always tell everybody that's starting off and growing their accounts to fully TP um, instead of yeah doing partials. It just doesn't make sense in my opinion. Okay, I just longed this here. I just did. My stop loss is here, right above. If it gets stopped, that's okay. I'll re-enter uh after it uh, breaks out. But I think this is looking pretty good. I like this 5 minute structure. Broke, rejected initially, rejected another time, and it's going for it the third time. So I think this should go up to 92.81 now. 92.89, somewhere around here. Okay, there you go. That's a nice move up. Hopefully I can keep going. Yeah, or 50%, but I also cry if TP2 hits. Well, then that's just something you have to deal with, right? Like if you're not happy with, I said this before you joined, if you're not happy with making money, then you're doing something wrong. Like I don't know what to tell you. Right? If you get if you miss out on like 2% more or like $10 more, who cares? Because you, at least in these conditions, right, you didn't know that was going to happen. You already found another trade that did that for you. The easiest way to avoid it is to do spot. That's why you have spot. When you have spot, you don't get the feeling of, you're missing out because you always have something. Leverage isn't for holding on to forever. It's a tool that you can use to grow your account, but you can't hold on to leverage because, oh, you know, this right here is exactly why you don't. Like, that you can't just keep holding on leverage for this. You have to take profits along the way because you don't know when this is going to happen again. Take profits on the way up and it's going to come back down. So if you have spot, then you're chilling because you have spot. You can just hold on to it for TP1, TP2, and whatever, and keep going. Yeah, partial TPs only work when uh in a trendy market. Right now, it's kind of choppy when you get a good. Yeah, yeah. Basically, what Jacob said, right? This is again. I'm gonna keep emphasizing we are not trending. We're not in an uptrend. We're ranging, which is why I have been doing this or telling people to do this because it's more aggressive and you're securing profits rather than letting them run and basically give them back away. My spots are down a lot, depending on when you bought it, yeah, but it'll go back up. You just have to wait it out. Unless you have some dead coins, then good luck. Um, like Popcat. Anyway, I just woke up. Oh, okay. Well, good morning to you, positive. 12:30 again. Let's see how late tomorrow's gonna be. You're charting what next? I'm not gonna chart that coin, bro. Wait, this had another fake out. I'm gonna see where. Hopefully this closes about because this is one, two, three rejections, so this should be bought back up. It should go back up. So I'll wait for this 15-minute close. It should go up, in my opinion. Delete that. It's annoying. Yeah, if we can reclaim this trend line too, that would be great. We extend it out a little bit more. Anyway, anything else? Any other questions? I'm just gonna keep streaming and kind of just go over these points and see how they play out. But besides that, I don't really have much else to like show. But I hope it was helpful. But it's really not that complicated. It's very easy. But you just have to do it enough time, enough number of time. Just put in the hours, and just like everything else, the more practice you do, the easier it's gonna get. It's going back up for now. Thing is also BTC. Yeah, BTC to go down a little bit more. This is also another thing to consider. A lot of resistance coming up, maybe one more Vic, and then back down. Oh, I didn't even see this happened. Pretty good bounce there. Yeah, here's your high, your low. I mean, lower high. You want another lower high here, and then possibly another lowering. Let's see. Okay, yep, that's going back up. That's good. Smart coin, it's going back up too. That's good. Hmm. Anyway, asking how was your guys' Christmas? Back to business as usual. Good Christmas. That's good. Good to hear. Back to business next week. Yeah. Geeking first. It's always geeking, bruh. For you. How to be successful like any of you. Um, well, first, how long have you been doing crypto or trading? Although the Chinese restaurant charged my credit card for my sister-in-law's meal. Uh-oh. They will pay. Yeah, that's not good. Well, I mean, you gotta figure out, right? Why? Right, you've been doing it for 2 years, which is a pretty good of a. It's sad, but that's the point where usually people turn around and start being profitable. So it might be your time now, but you need to fix the things that are causing you to lose. Because if you just keep doing the same thing again and again, then you don't know. You need to sit down and figure out why. Bro, most of us fed money to the yes, yeah, pretty much. at least 2 or 3 years, and then people actually start to turn it around. So it might be your time now. Mio is still feeding. Yeah, time to lock in. Yep, lock in, bro. Lock in. Come on, bro. Let's go. Let's go. What's the hold up? Let me see. Let me pull up these EMAs. Oh, I already have them pulled up. Oh, another thing I do use, I use EMA 200 and moving average 200. So um, green is 200 EMA, blue is 200 MA. So once they're reclaimed, so you can see there's a trend shift. Now here, it was still fairly new, so I wouldn't trust it too much. But here, for example, here, this is very reclaimed, both of them. It did here too, but it came back down. But here it reclaimed, and then it had its move up. Came down, retested both of them, and now it's, trying to go back up. So as long as it's above these two, and it definitely did 200 EMA on 15-minute. This is pretty bullish. If it gets turned into resistance again, then you want to look for shorting opportunities for this coin. But you also want to look at other things like this trend line here. There's support that's been reclaimed. So it's just bullish overall. This is more for like Confluence. I don't use that strictly just to enter and exit trades, but it's a good indicator. My only when this small does the Bitcoin dominance long. That's the one I gave.
Hey, baby.
Have 2 minutes.
Hmm?
Take a second. Mom's calling.
Okay.
I want a step 1, 2, 3, 4 in trading. Here, Gunnar, your mic turned on, by the way. And now Jaiming is getting horny. Looking at too many things make me confusing. So start with like one thing at a time, right? You need to learn basically one thing at a time. Like my trading style is very simple because I learned from Arsh, and his is also very simple. So it's pretty identical. He does spot, I do leverage and spot. As far as at least like giving calls, but it's very easy. Like when we also have the Aura University launching pretty soon. So I would um, you know look into that too. It's gonna be broken down topic by topic, so you can go over one thing, master that one thing, and then move on to the other thing. Um, whose sister? Can she be my step? Wow, bruh. Yeah, no problem, Gunnar. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, this close. I'm gonna long this now. I'm longing Pingu. Ping. Looks very good. My entry is 3856, so basically where it is right now. So I'm gonna move this up and put my stop loss here because yeah, here is fine. I don't want it to go down under, back down under here. So If I take a loss, it's okay. Again, this is just scalping, so small movements are really not going to hurt me that much. Art coin. Let's look at that. Okay, had a rejection. It might come back down here to retest and go back up. Yeah, let's see. Let's see how these play out. Auction, I'm just looking to see what this does because I want to long this too, but I want to see this get back above this high here. So here's high, exactly like I drew out, rejected from here, bounced from support here and back up. So if you longed there, that was the 1.5% move right there. So pretty easy in my opinion. You just have to, keep practicing and do it over and over again. Okay, just give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay.